بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Continuing from the previous video about Maqaamaat, what was the Maqaamaat about, and we discussed that it was actually some melodies and some tunes that we recite the Quran al-Kareem in today's time. And then we discussed, is it necessary for us to learn all the maqamat, or shall we just stick to some of the maqamat because those maqamat are what we like, etc., etc. And we discussed in the previous video. If you want the full details, inshallah ta'ala, don't forget to check the previous video. Today, the ruling of maqamat. The ruling of maqamat, we said it as well previously, that there is one condition that should never be broken, is to actually recite the Quran al-Kareem with maqamat, but breaking the rules of tajweed. And generally, the rules of tajweed will be broken because of those maqamat, because of a specific tune. The tune needs to go a certain way. However, it will contradict the rule of tajweed. So people will actually give preference to the tune, so it sounds better. However, they will break tajweed. And tajweed, as I explained, it's part of the Quran. Maqamat is not part of the Quran. Okay, it's just an extra thing. However, tajweed cannot be broken whatsoever from the Quran al-Kareem. It's part of the Quran al-Kareem. We need to recite the Quran al-Kareem with tajweed. Now, al-maqamat according to the speed. Let's break it up here. There are a lot of scholars that would say maqamat is not allowed, and there are a lot of scholars that would say maqamat are allowed to recite. There is actually a fine line, and as I said, the main thing is don't break any rules of tajweed. Now, according to the speed that you recite the Quran al-Kareem, and this is very important to note, that may be the most accurate ruling that we can give, is to actually analyze what speed are you reciting the Quran al-Kareem and in what speed are you using those maqamat. Now, for example, if you use maqamat in the hadar format, in the fast way of recital, then it's very unlikely that we will actually break the rules of tajweed because of the tune. In the same way, if we recite al-Quran al-Kareem with the tadweer mode, so the moderate mode of reciting the Quran al-Kareem, for example, how we recite in salah, again, using the maqamat, is very unlikely that we will actually break the rules of tajweed because of those tune. And you can listen to the ai how they recite at-tadweer. A quick example, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. This is at-tadweer, and this is a simple maqam that I have recited. So now, in these, and al-hadar, for example, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. This is al-hadar. So basically, I have recited both hadar and tadweer with maqam and with tajweed without breaking any rules of tajweed, and this is completely permissible. This is something which is good, and we're getting more reward, inshallah ta'ala, by trying our best to recite the Quran the most beautiful way possible. Now, where is this issue of maqamat not being permissible? It is in the mujawwad recital. And let me explain. In al-mujawwad, it's a pace of recital that you can situate, it can be situated between at-tahqiq and at-tadweer. Okay, so it's a slow motion of reciting the Quran al-Kareem. And when you recite this mode, in basically the maqamat in that mode, in mujawwad mode, it's very difficult to keep the rules of tajweed intact. The vast majority, and I would say 95% to more than that, will actually break the rules of tajweed when reciting in the mujawwad format. Why? It's because there are certain rules that we need to follow in the tune, in maqamat. For example, when we're ending a verse, we need to add some specific turns. And because it's a slower recital, the tune will take longer to complete. However, in that duration, the rules of tajweed will be broken, because most of the time we will be lengthening more, much more than what it's supposed to be. Now, for example, just say the length of a letter in al-mujawwad format might last you 1 to 2 seconds. Okay, just for argument's sake. When reciting with the tune and we want to complete the tune, we might end up reciting that same letter for 3-4 seconds. And this is completely forbidden, completely wrong. And this is also a format of recital which actually is not very respectful to the Quran al-Kareem, especially in today's time, because it has become a show. It has become a show where a person sits down and recites in front of a crowd and then moves all the way around. There is a mic system here. It's not really like a recital that you actually feel. It's because the tune is amazing, the tune is beautiful, everybody is amazed by the actual tune. And they will say, Allah, Allah, Allah. Sometimes the ayah of adhab will be mentioned in the Quran al-Kareem, where hellfire, for example, is expressed in the ayah, where it should bring us sadness, and we should think about it, we should be scared, frightened about it, and it needs to make us remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this position, for example, after the Qari recites the ayah, everybody will stand up, will say, Allah, Allah, and MashaAllah, you recited beautifully, Allahumma zid fazid, may Allah ta'ala increase you, may Allah ta'ala. But the person just actually recited something linked to hellfire, where it's supposed to bring us sadness, not joy. So there are many things like that, where the huquq, the adab, the etiquette of the Quran al-Kareem is broken when especially mujawwad is taking place. And this is actually where all of these ulama, that as I mentioned before, the scholars will actually say that maqamat is haram, specifically in this mode. If you learn it in tadwir, in hadar, there is nearly nobody that would disagree with you reciting in any of the maqam in those two speeds. When you recite in mujawwab, that's where it becomes problematic. And I've given several examples, alhamdulillah, and I hope this is clear enough for all of us, inshaAllah ta'ala. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq, the capacity to understand what has been said. Inshallah ta'ala, we will actually discuss further regarding the maqamat in the next video. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.